Lexi. I like that.
Hey girl, hey, it's Lexi. I am so damn excited to do this video today. I already filmed this entire video. I edited fucking computer. Like, I don't know what happened exactly, but the file corrupted. So I lost the entire fucking video. I'm like, damn it. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So this is gonna be the story about my best friend in high school who had sex with my mans. My best friend at the time, we're gonna name her Kelly. My boyfriend at the time, we were gonna name him Kenny. When I did meet Kelly, we were inseparable. Like, we were instant best friends. We got along so well. She was funny as hell. We had a huge group of friends, right? So we all went to the same school. We'd all hang out, chill. Anytime that we would all hang out, Kelly was always making comments like, oh my god, you guys are so cute. You guys are such a cute couple. It makes me want a boyfriend so bad. I hate being single. Kelly was always pushing like she just wants to hang out with me and Kenny, which we were fine with. She'd come over Kenny's house, chill, smoke, munch out. Eventually, it just ended up being me, Kelly, and Kenny hanging out all the time. On this one day, I was grounded. I was not allowed to hang out with anybody. And Kelly calls me. She's crying. She's all sad. She's like, I'm having a really bad day. And I know that you can't hang out, but I was kind of wondering, can I go hang out with Kenny? Like, can you come pick me up? The fucking nerve, right? I just want to smoke. Like, it's not gonna be a thing. We're gonna chill for a little bit and then I'm gonna go back home. I was like, no, absolutely not. If I'm not there, you're not going. So that's one of the days that she was really trying me. But other than that, she really was a good friend. Every time that me and Kenny would fight, she was there for me. She was the first one that would call me, come over. She would console me. She was a good person. Kenny, on the other hand, he was not a good person. Even before I dated him, I had heard stories about him being like super flirty with other girls or hurting other girls. And me being young and dumb, I still dated him and he did the same to me. He was super flirty with the girls in my class, super disrespectful. Like, he would do that shit right in front of my face, but he was my very first boyfriend. So he was my first love. So I stayed. And then he started getting really abusive. And of course, the first person that I would call is Kelly. So Kelly ends up getting a boyfriend. And his name for the story, we're gonna call John. I knew John. I knew that he was a good guy. So I knew that he was gonna treat her well. This one year on Valentine's Day, I'm hanging out with a few other people. I'm like, okay guys, I'm gonna leave. I have a date with Kenny. On my way out, I get a call from Kelly. Kelly is hysterical. She's screaming, she's crying, and she's telling me that she needs to have me pick her up now. She's telling me that her and John broke up and she's really going through it and she has nowhere to go. She doesn't know what to do. I'm like, girl, it's Valentine's Day. Like, I'm sorry. I can hang out with you tomorrow, but we have something planned. I can't go. She goes off on me. She's like, call him right now and cancel. I need you. I can't be alone. I will unalive myself. She was one of those. It's a red flag. Like, you don't say that just to say it, you know? Like, when she was telling me, like, you need to cancel. It wasn't like you need to cancel your plans with Kenny and hang out with me and support me. It was more so, fuck Kenny. Of course, I felt bad, so I call Kenny. I'm like, hey Kenny, what up? Kelly's not doing so hot. I need to hang out with her, but we can hang out tomorrow, okay? He is pissed. He's livid. He's like, no, we're not doing this tomorrow. I already made reservations. I planned this out way beforehand. We get into a huge fight about it. He's screaming at me. I'm screaming at him. And because of this, we actually don't talk for a few days. So I'm hanging out with Kelly. Kelly starts telling me that the fight between her and John went really bad. He broke it off. Pretty much he's done with her. A few days later, I finally call Kenny. I'm like, hey, listen, can we talk? Can we hang out? He's like, yeah, sure, I'll come pick you up. We start talking, everything's cool for a second, and then he completely turns and he starts getting really abusive with me. I stayed with him for a long time while he was being abusive, but at this point, I was just so done with it, I couldn't handle it anymore. I call Kelly, I'm like, hey, come pick me up. I'm done with this dude. I break up with him and I leave. Me telling him that I'm done with him, he knew what that meant. Like, he knew that it was a break. We weren't done forever, because that's what we would do. Like, we would fight, I would break up with him, and then we'd get back together in a few days. So the next day, I go to school. I walk in, everything's cool, everything's normal. I see Kenny, and he looks me up and down and gives me the dirtiest look. the dirt, like I called his mama a bitch. Like he looked at me all types of crazy. I walk away and I go sit with a couple other friends, right? I'm looking around, I'm like, hey, where's Kelly? And when I look, I see that fucking Kelly is hanging out with fucking Kenny. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Because a few days ago on fucking Valentine's Day, it was fuck Kenny, leave Kenny. Like, what? How are you gonna switch up on me like that? I'm pissed. Like, I feel betrayed by the both of them because he knows she's my best friend and she knows the abuse and the bullshit that he put me through. She was there for all of it. She had seen some of it. She knew what he put me through. So for her to betray me and choose him as a friend over me, I was like, are you kidding me? She was over there standing up and he was sitting down on a bench and she was over there like, like trying to make him laugh, like making a joke. I was like, what the fuck is she doing? All my other friends are like, dude, just ignore it. He's obviously trying to make you jealous and he's choosing to do it with your closest friend. A few weeks passed by. I was so excited. I was turning 17 years old. So of course, I got like my whole little outfit. I got my makeup, my hair done. So I walk into school. The first person that I see is Kenny. And he looks at me and he goes like this. And this motherfucker was covered in hickeys. Like, if you're gonna fuck someone, fine, fuck them. But showing up like that and showing me like that on purpose on my birthday, the audacity, right? I'm like shaking. I'm like, what? Instinct, I go looking for Kelly. I'm like, where is Kelly? Where are my friends? Like, I'm looking for everyone. And finally, I go to a class and I see Kelly. And she too is covered in hickeys completely. I walk up to her and I'm like, so it was you. Right? So it was you. Like, if you're gonna sit here and fucking show me those hickeys, say that shit with your chest. It was you, right? Doesn't say anything. She sits there quietly with her head down like this. I'm like, okay. Okay. I go to turn around, take a deep breath, turn back around, and I just hit her. Oh! Just once. A good one.
Oh! See what I'm saying?
Right to the mouth. She falls all dramatic. One of the teacher grabs me, pulls me out, puts me in the office. We kind of talk about it. So I do end up getting suspended. My dad gets there. He comes, he picks me up. And I am just crying. I am hysterical. I'm like, oh my God. I call my mom and I'm telling her the entire story. And she's just like, are you kidding me? Kelly? I'm like, yeah, Kelly, bitch. She never fucking liked Kelly, so. Before I could even like sit down and get comfortable, I get a text message from John. He's like, hey, what are you doing? Like, let's hang out. I'll come pick you up. I can get some food for you. And we can just chill, like smoke. Like, obviously, you know, in my fucking little brain, I was taking this opportunity like, ooh, this is a good way to like really get back at this bitch. I'm like, yeah, let's hang out. So he picks me up. We hang out. So shit happens, obviously. This me and John thing, this lasts for a few weeks. No one really knows about it. We're just kind of keeping it like hush hush. So this one day, I go to school. I see that Kelly and Kenny are not hanging out with each other. They're completely like in different areas. And then I see that Kelly is coming up to me. She comes up to me. She, of course, starts apologizing. After that, she starts telling me pretty much in detail like what went down with her and Kenny. She tells me that they hang out after school. The day that I saw them hanging out together, they smoked some weed, they got high. She said that she's the one that initiated it. She went to lay down. She asked him for a back rub. She took her top off. And then of course things happened, right? So I asked her, I'm like, okay, so are you guys still talking? She's like, no, like it wasn't gonna be a thing. Like, also that it stopped because she was starting to miss John. I'm like, oh, okay. After this conversation, we were cool. This one night, I'm hanging out with John, right? He accidentally leaves a humongous hickey on my chest. I took a little bit of makeup from my mom's room, and when I got to school, I ran into the bathroom, took my shirt off, and I started trying to cover the hickey up. And of course, while I'm doing that, Kelly walks in. And I turn around and she looks at me, she's like, I'm like, what? And she's like, oh my God, like, I'm so happy that you're finally moving on and you're hooking up with someone else. We kind of start laughing it off. She comes over and she starts trying to help me take it off. And she kind of like looks over, she's like, so who's it from? We used to hang out with other people at this close school. So I was like, one of the guys from that school, I don't think you'd know him. So she's like, okay. So at this point, we are talking again. We hung out a few times. So this one day she calls me and she's like, hey, I'm gonna come pick you up and we're gonna go to John's house. I'm like, why? And she's like, because I miss him and I want to see him and I just want you to come with me for support. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So she picks me up and on the way there, she starts telling me that she's been asking for him to hang out and it just seems like he doesn't want to hang out with her. So she wants to go over there and see like what's going on. Like, is he with somebody else? I'm just sitting there like, okay, that's fine. So we get there and John isn't home, but his little sister is. His little sister already knew all about me. She knew what was going on. I knew she wasn't gonna say anything. His room had spray paint all over the walls. People would come over and like paint stuff, draw stuff. Kelly's like, oh my God, I have a great idea. Let's draw all over the walls, like all over the art, and we'll draw a bunch of funny stuff. We can put like a bunch of dicks and then we could put like fuck you or asshole. She was trying to be like funny, cute at the same time, but also she knew what she was doing. She was trying to be a bitch, you know? Like, okay, I'm down. So I start grabbing a can and I'm drawing like a bunch of stuff. I love to draw and she knows this. And I fucked up. I know I fucked up because I put a little heart. Fucking idiot. So she sees that I'm actually drawing and she's like, no, like, I don't want you to draw. I want you to put rude shit, like call him an asshole, say fuck you. And I'm like, dude, let me fucking draw. She looks at me like this. And then she goes, are you fucking him? Me and John's sister look at each other and we start cracking up. We're laughing, we're looking at her, straight gaslighting her like, do you fucking hear yourself? Am I fucking him? Yes, I am. And we're just laughing. I'm looking at his sister, I'm like, and at that very second, John comes in. And he looks over and he's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Screaming at both of us, like, you guys need to get out. I see that him and Kelly, like, they're getting into it bad. I'm like, you know what? I'ma leave. I'ma go. So I do. I just leave. I just walk home. I know this sounds so bad. But a few days later, I'm actually like hanging out with John again, right? So we're hanging out. I start to see that Kelly is blowing his phone up. Blowing that shit up. And then I look over and she starts blowing my phone up. I'm like looking at him, he's looking at me. So after we hang out, he drops me off. I go inside. I end up just like getting into bed, like getting comfortable, and just end up like chilling for the night. What is that guy fucking looking at? So I'm chilling. I end up falling asleep. The next morning, I see that I have a bunch of missed calls. I go to grab my phone and John starts calling. So I answer. I'm like, hello? He's like, hey. So I had to tell Kelly what happened. I'm like, why? He's like, well, she came over unexpected. We talked and she kept asking me, like, are you fucking her? He said that he kept denying it. He's like, no, like, what are you talking about? You sound crazy. And then she asked him, okay, swear on your dad. So the thing is, his dad passed away. And that's something that, of course, like, he couldn't lie about. This is something that she would always do. Like, if she wanted answers, even if he wasn't lying, she would be like, okay, swear on your dad. Like, that is so shitty. That is such a shitty thing to do. Anyway, that's what she did. So of course I can't blame him for not lying about it. I'm like, okay, so she knows. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. At that same second, she starts calling me. I'm like, okay, well, she's calling. Let me answer. So she calls me and she is going off on me. I'm like, you better fucking stop your ass right fucking there. You have some fucking nerve yelling at me for something you fucking started. You fucking started this. Don't fucking come at me. Yes, I absolutely did something wrong. I shouldn't have fucked your ex. I get that. But you fucked my boyfriend.
We were on a break.
She would have hooked up with him and she would have came to me and told me like, hey, look, I got a little high. I hung out with him and we fucked. That would have been different. I would have been like, okay, I would have more respect for her. But I don't, because she didn't fucking tell me. She got caught. So after that, she kind of like calmed down. We kind of talked about it. She's like, yeah, see, I had a feeling. And I'm like, yeah, I fucking didn't have a feeling because I didn't think you would do something like that to me. So after that, we stayed cool. So Kelly now, she's doing great. She's doing good. John, he's actually in the running from the cops video. That's John, that's my boy. And I did say in that video that I am going to make more story times with him. So yeah, that is the entire video. I really hope that you guys liked it. I'm gonna make a couple more story times that I'm gonna upload for you. If you do like the video, I hope you subscribe. Leave a comment, let me know if you do wanna see something different. If there's something you didn't like about the video, please let me know. Have a good day. Be good to yourself. Bye.